Hare Krishna. Now, thank you so much to Rujita Mataji for organizing this nice program for us. So we'll begin. I know some of you have to leave early. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschat Desh Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much for coming today. So we are going to discuss the topic of cooking and cleaning. So I thought about this topic because it's something we all are familiar with, but there are so many different outlooks about it. So first we'll hear from Srila Prabhupada on this topic. Prabhupada says on a morning walk in 1975 in Chicago, we shall teach the girls two things. One thing is how to become chaste and faithful to their husband, and how to cook nicely. These two qualifications are required. She must learn how to prepare first-class foodstuff, and she must learn how to become chaste and faithful to the husband. Only these two qualifications required. Then her life is successful. Let them learn varieties of cooking. So Srila Prabhupada really emphasizes that girls should learn how to cook. Then the next quote in a letter to a disciple in 1972, a woman's real business is to look after household affairs. Keep everything neat and clean. And if there is sufficient milk supply available, she should always be engaged in churning butter, making yogurt, curd, so many nice varieties, simply from milk. The woman should be cleaning, sewing, like that. Okay, so in this, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing that the real business is to take care of the household, keeping it very neat and clean. So these two things, cooking, cleaning. Now, why we want to discuss this topic is that in today's world, these two things are considered rather trivial. What is the big thing in cooking and cleaning? I mean, it's a menial job. Anybody can do it. We can hire somebody to do it. Why is it important? And why are we discussing it as devotees? So what happened many years ago, the feminist movement came up. And in fact, many of the feminists were very disparaging about housework. And throughout the years, what has happened in all countries, and it's come to India also, that people think that being a homemaker or a housewife is not a very important job. And so these activities, which are essential in taking care of the house, are not given much importance, not well respected. You feel that if a person is okay, it's okay for a simple person, but if a person is well educated or intellectual, then what is the need? Better you just get somebody else to do it, right? That is what people think. One of the very famous feminists, she said that housework is actually an endless repetition. The battle against dust and dirt is never won. That no matter how much you clean, again. So it's endless and it's like mind-numbing. There's no benefit in it. And that's why they say that women were depressed, because that is what their role was, just take care of the house, nothing, no other engagement. And another feminist, she said that housework is invisible, repetitive, exhausting, unproductive, uncreative. So they said, all these ladies started to say that we don't want to be just in the house. What is the benefit? It is not giving us any satisfaction. So this was the modern view. Most people have accepted it now. But what was little shocking for me was that I recently saw a lecture. One of my good friends sent it to me. It was a discussion one of the participants in that discussion was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, a senior Mataji. And she was discussing how there must be more to a woman's life than managing the house. The words she used was that if that is all a woman is doing, she's a glorified maidservant. So it was very shocking for me because we'll discuss that this is actually in contrast to what Srila Prabhupada says. A glorified maidservant means, okay, you are slightly better than a maidservant, you have your house and you probably have a comfortable way of life, but essentially the work you are doing is like a maid. So it was, if we see such things, it is disheartening and it's confusing, because this is not what Srila Prabhupada is saying, or the senior devotees. Many of them don't condone this view. So therefore we are going to discuss this in more detail. We are going to see why Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing this so much. So first we are going to talk about cooking. Now cooking, of course, it's an essential part of our life, but why it is very much emphasized, particularly in ISKCON. ISKCON is called kitchen religion because there's so much emphasis on preparing prasadam, distributing prasadam. So why is this so important? So one thing is that actually cooking is a direct devotional service. That is because we are cooking for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So it is not a trivial thing. It's a very important aspect. It's directly linked to our devotional life because service is so important. You know, Prabhupada was the one who translates bhakti as devotional service. He doesn't say it's devotion. He says it's devotional service. So it's very important to serve. And why is that? So Prabhupada explains. In a lecture, this is on a Bhagavad Gita shlok, 6th chapter, 35th verse. So the translation is, the Blessed Lord said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and by detachment. So Lord Krishna is saying that how can we curb the mind? Why do we have to curb the mind? Because when our mind is peaceful, then our thoughts can be towards the Lord and higher purpose of life. So we need our mind to be peaceful, but how do we do that? So Arjuna had said that it's so restless, I can't control my mind. But Lord Krishna said, by constant practice. Now Prabhupada explains, Krishna says yes. Krishna does not say it is not difficult. So he does not say that, oh, it's easy to control the mind. No. Krishna understands. He says it is difficult, but the solution is constant practice. Now Prabhupada is explaining. This constant practice is to engage oneself in something which reminds us of Krishna. Do something. Therefore, we have so many activities. Not only kirtan, but temple activities, prasad activities. Everyone is engaged in some activities and Krishna is the central point. Now listen to what Srila Prabhupada says. Therefore, a person who is typing for Krishna, he is in yoga system. A person who is cooking for Krishna, he is in yoga system. A person who is chanting in the street, distributing literature, he is also in Krishna. If we mold our life in connection with Krishna, then in every activity there is Krishna consciousness, and therefore this yoga perfection is there automatically, right? So Srila Prabhupada is explaining that how do we curb our mind, and this whole idea of elsewhere Prabhupada says yukta vairagya, that we want to be renounced. But in this age, it is not possible that we just sit in one place. Not possible for 99% of the people. There will be a very small percentage who can do it. So the practical way is that you go on with your activities, but keep Krishna in the center. And cooking is a very important activity. But as soon as you do it such that it is centered around Krishna, it is yoga. So you're a yogi, a person who's cooking. So make no mistake, not maidservant, but yogi. Yeah? And then another lovely quote where Srila Prabhupada says, on the same lines, anyone who is cooking for Krishna, he is in samadhi. Just see the words Prabhupada is using. Because his consciousness is that I am doing here for satisfaction of Krishna. When you cook, if you think, oh, this nice thing is being cooked, I shall eat it very nicely, then it is not Krishna. It is, if you're thinking that it is for, let me do it very nicely so that Krishna will taste it, it is Krishna consciousness. The same thing, activities is the same, but the consciousness is different. That is samadhi. So a very radical view Srila Prabhupada has. Because when we think about samadhi, we think a person sitting in meditation. But no, Prabhupada is saying activity. Do your activity. And this is the thing, when we have children, when we are very busy, then where is the time sometimes to even sit and chant our 16 rounds? But no problem. Do some rounds in the morning. Then when you're cooking, keep chanting, continue to chant. That is very nice devotional service. Yeah. So the first point was why cooking is important, because it is a direct devotional service to Lord Krishna. We are cooking, we are offering, and then it's very purifying. The next point is that it's our food depends on who is cooking it, and the person who is eating it will be affected by the consciousness of the cook. Can you imagine? This is a very subtle thing. It's, if you think that, okay, these are the ingredients, this is a person who's expert in cooking, they'll follow the recipe and everybody who eats it will be happy. Sure, they may at that time of eating feel some pleasure if a thing is made very nicely. But then you have to see how is it affecting your mind. Because the consciousness of the cook is transferred to the food. This is explained by Prabhupada and our scriptures. Scientifically, you may not be able to understand that. How is it that a thought is being transferred to the food? But I'll give you a simple example. When we were children and we are growing up, thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So when we are children and we are growing up, and then later we are older, and then we think back of our mother's cooking, and we always feel very happy, and most children will say, oh, that was my favorite food. Yeah, that's because our mothers are cooking it with love for the family. And when we are eating the same preparation, which we may eat at a restaurant, and we eat what our mother has made, it will give us more satisfaction and happiness. You know, when after a long time we go visit our mom and she makes our favorite thing, it's unparalleled, the kind of joy you get. So why is that? It's because her love is transferred in that food. So in the same way, when we are cooking for Krishna, actually that good vibration goes in the food. And when you serve this, when we offer it with love, Krishna accepts it, it's prasadam. Then when we distribute it, it's really, really potent. So if you are cooking in that mindset for your family, think about the benefit. It's really going to help the consciousness. So again, Srila Prabhupada explains, this is in a lecture in 1966. As a householder, you have to cook for yourself. You have to cook for your children, you have to cook for someone else, or for your own self. Prabhupada says, just like I'm cooking, I have no family, but I'm cooking for myself. So cooking you cannot stop. But if you cook with the understanding, this food stuff is being cooked for the Lord may be offered first, then we shall take. This is God consciousness. So this consciousness, when is prepared and you are serving it, you are benefiting your whole family. So if you get a cook, she may be able to make the nice preparations, that process will be done, your child, your family will be fed, but the effort that you put in, and when you prepare it and serve to your family, it is very different. And you will see that the atmosphere in the house can be changed. There are so many Matajis who have this experience that they came to Krishna consciousness. Their family members were not very favorable. So they were advised, no problem, you do your sadhana, be patient. Sometimes it takes maybe a decade, 10 years, 12 years. But gradually the whole family is transformed. Even if they don't become devotees, they are, favorable towards it. They say, okay, you go on with your practice. So what changed their mind? It is because this Mataji is cooking, offering, then serving to the family. The most hard-hearted person also can be melted with prasadam. And prasadam is called this secret weapon. So many programs, they say that, sometimes we are preaching in places where it's very difficult. They are very against our philosophy. So the method that is prescribed is, first, only give prasadam. If somebody is very, cynical, or they say, I don't believe in God, or I don't believe in your religion, why this, why not that, then no need to argue. First, only give prasadam, and then see a change happens. Why is that? Because actually the consciousness of a person can be changed. So again, very important duty as a mother, as a wife. You are really not just making your family physically healthy, but you're affecting their mental, emotional state by giving them first-class prasadam. So two very important things, that cooking is devotional service. Second, the consciousness of the cook goes in the food. So whatever you serve to your family, it will be beneficial. The next point is, that is actually a very joyous thing. It's a very nice thing. Anytime you have a celebration, there's a family gathering, there will be good food. Yeah. So food and prasadam by itself is a way of bringing devotees together, bringing family members together, and having a celebration. In our family, whenever we have the children have some good result, or there's some other good news, then we say, okay, we're going to have a celebration. So then what is the discussion? What should we offer? What should we prepare for the Lord? That's it. That's what celebrations are. So it's such a big part of celebration, any festival. So anyway, that is going to happen, right? So it's a direct way of giving joy to the people around us. Everybody likes nice prasadam. And Prabhupada explains. Prabhupada says in a room conversation in Mayapur, 1977, cooking means if you have no appetite, it will create appetite. That is cooking. Not that simply add some ghee and masala and cook it. No, it is a great art. So again, it is being said that, oh, housework, cooking, so boring. Not true, actually. It's a very intricate thing. It's a great art, and people who are good at it, then they get a lot of satisfaction also. And these days we are so lucky that, okay, there is a bad part to the internet, but what's the good part? You have thousands of YouTube videos. If you want to learn anything, the recipe is there, the method is there, you can see it. So you can learn so many things and just have a wide variety. Again, very important for us as devotees, because we have restrictions, tight restrictions for various reasons. This is not good for our consciousness. We don't want to eat something we can't offer Krishna, and Krishna has a standard. He is the Supreme Lord. He doesn't want to eat non-veg. He doesn't want to eat certain tamasic or rajasic ingredients. Yeah. So we cook what Krishna likes, but that limits it. But within that, there is so much variety. So we don't want our children or family members to feel that, oh, now they have come to ISKCON, they are leaving everything. Just the opposite, actually. You will see that devotees are so creative, and there's such a wide variety that they cook, they learn. So that's also important. And that's something how we can keep our family members inspired in this process, that they should not feel that they are missing out on anything, especially our children. Because we don't, like Prabhupada has explained, we don't want them to have the consciousness of, the person who's cooking outside. He's just doing it for money. So if somebody is cooking and thinking, I can charge a lot of money for this, then that's the consciousness you're going to get. More materialistic, that, okay, that, we are here in the material world, how much money we can get, like that. So we want to not have that consciousness. But we don't want our children to feel deprived. So we have to make that extra effort. And the final thing I wanted to say about cooking is that actually in olden times, the kitchen was very important because it was also kind of like a pharmacy. If there was any ailment, actually the mothers would rig up a home remedy, ghar ka nuksa, and usse the disease would, the beginning stage, you can catch it and cure it. So many things. You have kada, everybody has their own recipes. If you have headache, drink this. If you have, rub this. Even facial and all, everything from the ingredients available in the kitchen. So this was also an expertise. That imagine if you are cooking the right way with the right ingredients, you're actually improving your family's health. So this was the thing, the final thing. So all these things, if we contemplate, we can understand that it's a very essential thing and it's not a trivial thing. It's really important. So next time people say that, what do you do at home? If they feel that, you're working, but then you go home and again you are working, why? Just get help, get a full-time help, that's fine. You don't need to do all this. Or even if you're not working, they'll say your husband is earning so well, why do you have to be in the kitchen? Just you go to kitty party, let someone else do your cooking, But now we understand that cooking is not a simple thing. It gives us opportunity for so much. And the next thing was cleaning. Okay, cooking one can still understand because most of us have grown up seeing our moms cook and we kind of have that in our head. But cleaning always maids are doing. Why do we have to get into it? So actually in Bhagavatam, it is explained in Canto 7, Chapter 11. There are duties given of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. And there's a special section for duties of women. Okay, it starts about how you should be very faithful and obedient to the husband, take care of the family. And in that, that's Canto 7, Chapter 11, verse 26, it is mentioned, always wearing clean and attractive garments, she should sweep and clean the household with water and other liquids so that the entire house is always pure and clean. So direct from the Shastra that this is one of our duties, that we should clean the house. And why is that? Why should it be so important? Because Prabhupada often said cleanliness is next to godliness. It's a symptom of mode of goodness. So if you have a clean house, again it is related to our consciousness. Everything will be more peaceful and calm. So automatically yourself and your family will be more inspired towards spiritual life. So you'll notice that all this discussion, if we talk to a person who is not inspired by Krishna consciousness, it might be a little hard for them because they just want to, earn some money, enjoy life. But a person who is going towards spiritual life, then these things are very important. Now Prabhupada is connecting this cooking and cleaning together in one letter. Prabhupada wrote, in India, it is the custom that kitchen is not even in the same building where the living rooms are, because living rooms are contaminated. You know how it was? Traditional houses, that kitchen is separate, in separate building. Washroom is separate. That's very muchi, right? After cooking, all the unbaked clay pots are thrown away. Just see, even the pots are not reused. That is not possible in your country. Prabhupada always practical, so he's explaining. Therefore, you have to keep the utmost cleanliness. Why? Krishna does not require opulent offerings. He appreciates the sincere endeavor. A clean kitchen is more important than an opulent offering. If the kitchen is neat and clean, then the offering will be good. If the offering is a so-called opulent offering, but the kitchen is not clean, Krishna will not like it. So, if we are thinking about, if we are convinced that yes, cooking is a very important thing, then the next thing is very much connected to that is cleanliness. That kitchen is actually considered to be an extension of our altar. That's how much we have to keep it. Just like we keep the altar very clean, therefore the kitchen also. And then the rest of the house, because Krishna is living in our house. So if we treat our house like a temple, then just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had done Gundicha Marjanam, he very much emphasized temple should be cleaned. And they say when you clean Krishna's temple, you're cleaning your heart. So it is benefiting us, it's benefiting everybody, and it's essential for our spiritual practice to keep cleanliness. And I thought another aspect of cleanliness is that if you want to have a very clean place, you also need to have it very neat, right? If you have things strewn around, then it's difficult to clean it. And that brings us to, you kind of automatically start simplifying things, right? Because if you start cleaning and you see that you have so many clothes, that your winter clothes are in a box, it's under the bed, then you can't clean there because the things are there, right? So if you have a lot of belongings, then even keeping it clean is a problem. So gradually you'll see that you'll start thinking, better I have less. It is easier to keep things clean if it is less. So it's funny because we were in Muscat and we had a very big house. Then we went to Mayapur, much like 1/4 the house. But then COVID hit and we were doing everything ourselves, and it was so easy to keep the house clean because it's a small house, there's hardly anything. And when I just got married, my mother-in-law used to say, sometimes we would do shopping and she would say, why have you bought so many things? Where will we keep it? And I used to find it a bit odd because if you need things, it's not that their house was very small. But then when I had a smaller house, I understood that you do start thinking, if you have limited space, you will buy limited things. You'll think very carefully. If you have to buy something, you'll probably discard things that you're not using. So I found, practically speaking, cleanliness automatically helps you to simplify things. Because you understand that if I have to keep it clean, better to keep it simple. That's how it will be more practical. So that was another aspect of cleanliness, and I thought all this really helps us in our spiritual practice. That's why I wanted to discuss these two topics, cooking and cleanliness. If any of you are doing it, please do not think that you are like a maidservant. You're Krishna's maidservant, which is such an honor. So never be discouraged. And also, even if we have to get someone to help us, unless you know how to do the job yourself, you'll never be able to make sure that someone else is doing it nicely. So there's no problem. Some of us do require extra help because earlier there were joint families. People would just amongst the family divide the chores. Now I understand we all are living separately, so many responsibilities. Sometimes we do need help. That's all right. But the main responsibility is always on the lady of the house. So we have to supervise very nicely. We have to do it ourselves, and then we can reap the benefit and the whole family will be happy. Hare Krishna. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I feel, I felt very hurt when I heard people talk like this about Matajis who are very sincerely serving. This is actually service. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. And if you have any comments or questions, then please let me know. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, if you can talk about how to offer prasadam to Lord.
So Mataji, we have mantras. There are specific mantras. First thing, of course, is very clean, very nicely. We don't taste if we are cooking for Krishna, and there are certain prohibited items which are not to be used. So have a clean kitchen, clean utensils. You cook. After that, you can make a plate. Keep a plate separately for Krishna. Again, you can buy a new plate. Keep it only for Krishna. Then you offer it. There are certain mantras, but when we are starting, even if you can't remember the mantras, just with your heart you can request Krishna to accept the offering. And this is the greatness of the Lord, that he can even eat with his eyes, so he will accept. It is to be done with love and devotion. And if you don't have vigraha, you can even do it to a picture. So like this, the main key is devotion and purity of our mind. If while cooking we can play some kirtan or a lecture, that will help us more, because we want to do it with the consciousness, I'm cooking for Krishna. So that's important.
Mataji, online somebody wants to ask.
Yes, please read the question. Yeah. So is it okay if you read the question?
You can ask question. Mataji, you are on. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, actually I have one doubt. Half answer I do know, but I want more clarification. Like, why is it called Radha Rani's kitchen? Because we used to know that Yashoda Mata used to call Radha Rani to cook for Krishna, because she got the boon that whoever has prasadam from Radha Rani's kitchen, they will have a long life. But anything else, because many new devotees, they ask, like, why is it called Radha Rani's kitchen? Why not Yashoda Rani's kitchen?
Yeah, so this
Because
is
in Damodar month we say na that Yashoda Mata was doing manthan, yogurt for Krishna. Then why there's a dilemma?
okay.
Yeah, Mataji.
So why is it called Radharani's kitchen? For this reason, that even Yashoda Mata acknowledges that Radharani is expert in making Krishna happy. Like, just imagine, Srila Prabhupada says Radharani never repeats a dish. Can you imagine? Like, eternally she's coming up with new preparation. So you have a person who is so expert. Second, nobody loves Krishna as much as Radharani does. So what we were saying, the consciousness goes in the cooking. So Yashoda Mata knows this, and this is the beauty of devotees. There isn't competition. They want the best for Krishna. So knowing her expertise and love, Yashoda Mata engages Radharani in this particular service. So that's why it is Radharani's kitchen, because she is acknowledged as the most expert, and we want the best for Krishna. So that's
Go straight and then
and that's why we also say that please pray for blessings of Radharani. When some young girls, they are learning cooking, they are hesitant that, oh, how will it come out and will Krishna accept? So we say pray to Radharani. Or sometimes we cook for big program and we are thinking, did I put salt or not? Doubt like this. So it's always nice to begin with that meditation, that Radharani should make our efforts successful.
Thanks a lot, Mataji.
हाँ माताजी,
पीरियड्स में खाना बना सकते हैं?
पीरियड्स में खाना बना सकते हैं। वही माताजी, इसमें बहुत सारे लेवल्स हैं। आपको पता है कि वैसे तो नहीं बनाना चाहिए, बिकॉज प्योरिटी, क्लेanliness इज सो इम्पॉर्टेंट। पर अगर आप ऐसे स्थिति में हैं कि और कोई नहीं है, तो फिर तो आपको बनाना है। आप ऑल्टर पे भोग मत लगाइए, आप फ़ोटो पे लगा सकते हैं। और पीरियड्स ख़त्म होने के बाद गंगा जल छिड़क के पूरा फिर से सफाई रख सकते हैं। पर अगर, और उसमें भी अगर आपके प्रभु या बच्चे एटलीस्ट अन्न बना सकते हैं, जो चावल होता है या रोटी होता है, तो वो भोग लगा सकते हैं कि दही और चावल का भोग लग जाएगा मेन ऑल्टर पे, और आप दाल सब्जी बना सकते हैं। इस तरह से भी कर सकते हैं। पर ऑफ कोर्स सबसे हाईएस्ट स्टैंडर्ड है कि नहीं करें कुकिंग, तो सबसे अच्छा है। पर जैसे जिसकी जो स्थिति है, अब फैमिली के लिए भोग तो मतलब तैयार करना है, प्रसादम बनाना है, तो जैसे स्थिति है तो प्रयास करें। बच्चों को शुरू से थोड़ी ट्रेनिंग दें कि उन 3 दिन में वो थोड़ी मदद कर सकें, या जो माता जी आसपास रहती हैं अपना प्रसादम क्लब स्टार्ट करिए कि एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट करें। तो इस तरह से दैट्स बेटर, दैट इज़ बेटर।
Pradita Mataji also on. Hare Krishna Mataji, you can ask.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Dhanavad
Dhanavad
Pranam,
Pranam.
Mataji. Mataji, you have said like Prabhupada ji saying that when we are cooking, actually we are in samadhi. So, my doubt is like we often we keep a lecture when we are cooking. So our concentration is always on the lecture, and mechanically we are doing cooking. So how far it is accepted, Mataji? Because when we are offering the same bhoga to the Lord, so we need to only focus on the cooking. Sometimes I will not listen lecture and focus on cooking in the main part. So then again I'll go there, and then like it is shifting. So is it recommended to do one thing at a time, or because two-way I'm not giving 100%.
Yes.
So how should it
Good,
go in
Mataji.
that
This is a good meditation that you have. So it is, yes, it is much better that you listen to something that reminds you of Krishna. So if you feel that you're listening to a lecture but you're focusing more on the lecture and not the cooking, then maybe you should listen to Kirtan. Kirtan is something that can still give good vibrations and not divert you from the process of cooking. But sometimes what happens is that Matajis are so busy with their household work that they don't get time for reading or hearing lectures. So because we spend a lot of time in cooking, so sometimes we give this recommendation that you can cook and listen to a lecture at the same time. But it is a very important thing. Maybe at the beginning of when you're about to start, you can just kind of remind yourself that I'm doing this for Krishna, and then it will remain in your mind. So you can try that in the beginning. Maybe pray to Radharani like we just discussed, that I'm going to start my cooking. That way you'll be in a good consciousness. But yes, you're right. It is an important service and we shouldn't do it mechanically. Sometimes I find that hearing a lecture is really nice. It is at least putting you in the consciousness of thinking about Krishna or listening to a senior devotee. So you can just remind yourself and go on. But that's okay. I mean, this does happen. Sometimes we are more focused on the cooking, sometimes. But if you're listening to a lecture and you find you're too focused on cooking, maybe go back and listen to it, because the lecture is also important. So, yeah, just to be in the good consciousness, that's important. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Of course, you all are very expert. I really had to struggle to learn cooking because typical, just growing up, busy with studies. We never learned it while growing up. But then when I came to Krishna consciousness, I realized how important it is. And it took me years to get some idea and get to a level where it's acceptable. Because the same thing, we think, oh, it's mechanical, but it's quite complicated, especially if you want to do it right. It's not just, cooking the meals, you make snacks and things that I don't do but should be done as pickles, chutneys, so much goes into it. So it's not an easy thing, not a small thing.
Mataji, one more question.
Yes.
Like the morning breakfast and the lunch at a time I used to do, Mataji. Then evening freshly I used to make for the dinner. So by the time I am taking the lunch, actually it is across the 3 hours duration of the
Yeah.
time. So is it recommended for the long run to do it? Because since it is easy for me to go into the kitchen and do two things at a time, so I also usually do that for afternoon also. Then freshly in evening I will prepare for the dinner. So how you recommend, Mataji, whether I'm doing in a correct way or no? Actually,
You know,
2 hours
all-
before I should cook.
Yeah, all these things, they have a actually quite a scientific basis. So it is, of course, recommended that we do it fresh. It's good for our body, good for our consciousness, good for offering. But then you have to see your circumstance. Maybe because there are other activities, so it's convenient for you. That's all right. Maybe you can do some preliminary things first, like washing, cleaning, all that, soaking the rice, but just do the cooking before eating, if possible. You can do that. Do most of the things when you have the time, and then quickly do the final thing. Or you can, like boil the dal but put the tadka just before eating. Something like that. That will freshen it up. So you can try that.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, like
Yes.
I am offering mostly morning and evening, like
Okay.
dinner.
Yeah.
Afternoon I am not getting because I am alone, so I
Yeah.
am not making anything for
Yes.
me. Whatever left over, that
Yeah.
only I am making.
Yeah.
So that time I am only offering like fruits.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, that's okay. That's okay. Whatever.
Because sometimes Mataji I am feeling I offered in the morning, then in the night only I am offering full time. I didn't
That's
offer
okay,
anything.
Mataji. Like I said, we are in this circumstance. We are not in joint families. Everything comes on the head of one person. So it is difficult. But the main thing is you set a standard for yourself, and it is recommended not to go below that standard. If you decide, okay, 2 offerings, these many items, try to stick to that. That's all. Even if you do one opulent offering in the afternoon, that's good. And at night you can give milk, morning you can give fruits, dry fruits, whatever is possible. Because same thing, sometimes we have so much leftovers, we just don't want to prepare fresh. That's okay. But whatever you decide, stick to that. That is important. Twice a day is fine, of course, in household life. Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Sridevi Mataji, you can ask question.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Pronounce,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Dhanwad pranam.
Dhanwad pronounce, Mataji. Mataji, I have a doubt that we offer bhoga to Krishna with always with a tulsi, right?
Yes.
Normally, tulsi we don't chew. So when we offer the bhoga, again we mix the same prasadam into the main prasadam.
Yes.
So sometimes it happens that we have to reheat that in the evening if we are having the
Right.
same. Then tulsi will be mixing in that prasadam, no?
Yes.
Then it will be an aparad or what, Mataji?
No, Mataji. Actually, I have heard this discussion when senior devotee, a sannyasi who has done a lot of research about Tulsi Maharani, he said that no scripture says that you cannot chew prasadam, Tulsi Maharani, because same thing, it is mixed with prasadam. We've offered to Krishna. We are chewing the prasadam also. So maybe this is a traditional thing. But in our scriptures, we don't find particularly that any prohibition is there to chewing tulsi. So it's not a problem if it is
Mataji,
mixed.
apart from chewing, we will reheat the prasadam also,
Yeah.
right, Mataji? Sometimes in
Yeah.
the night, if we have the same prasadam, the
Yes.
curry, dal, whichever is
Yes.
left, that we will again reheat it. Then again, the tulsi will be there in that prasadam, no? That is what my doubt is.
I
So we
understand.
can cook it.
Yes, it's not an aprad. It is, it's fine, because once we've mixed it, it's generally it's not good to reheat prasadam also too many times. It kills the prana of the food. But again, if we have to do it,
Yes,
that's
yes, ma'am.
fine. Yeah, but it's not an aprad. Once you have mixed
Oh.
it can be done. It's not a problem.
Okay, okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Mataji,
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, lot of times like we are cooking and we're offering to the Krishna also, and then we are eating. But back mind is not that we are making for Krishna.
Ah.
But it is there that maybe for husband, for your children,
Yes,
that
yes.
they're coming from office.
Correct,
or school, they're
100%.
tired.
Yeah.
I want them to have good nutrition.
Yes,
That is the thing is.
very true.
So how to have this consciousness?
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
That many times we are thinking, oh, this is my child's favorite, so I should make it, right? So we are not really thinking about Krishna, is it? One thing is that we are trying to serve our family as though they are devotees. We want them to also be devotees. So it is not a bad thing to think about service to devotees. It is also the duty of a woman written in scriptures that you should serve your family. So you're doing your duty. It's not a bad thing. It's not the topmost, because yes, the best thing is to be thinking about Krishna. And like we discussed, it is nice when we start cooking to remind ourselves of that. So if we do that habitually, then we will get used to it, that this is for Krishna, I should be in a proper consciousness. But it's, in the meantime, it's not a bad thing. If we want to serve our family nicely, that is also natural. It is good. But for their own benefit and our benefit, we should kind of remind ourselves. And I think this is a good thing that's come out of this discussion, that we pray to Radharani when we start cooking, that please allow me to do this service. That way we'll be in a better consciousness. And even if in the beginning you think when you're offering you have a good consciousness, that is also good. So even if in between we get lost in so many thoughts, mind wandering here and there and thinking about our family and children, but at least in the beginning and while offering, have a good consciousness. Be very mindful when you're doing the offering. So that's also good. That's a nice thing.
The same question I can relate
Yes.
very well from the long time, especially while we are cooking, we
Yes.
can have the consciousness that I'm cooking for Krishna.
Right.
But ultimately the thought how much you are putting,
Yes.
how much you want to, like apples if you are cutting. Okay,
Correct.
these two will be enough for my family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know it's wrong and right. From long time I started practicing, okay, Krishna is in my daughter,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
husband.
Okay.
So that Krishna I'm offering it.
Okay.
So I don't know it's wrong or right, you can tell about it.
I mean, yeah, in one sense, that's what I said. If you can see them not in your daughter or family, but to see your family as devotees. That, okay, I want them also to be devotees of Krishna. But it's not a wrong thing.
So
I
that thought definitely comes. Anything
Yes.
we are putting, okay, these many, this
yes,
much amount
yes,
is
yes.
enough.
We are thinking of, that ultimately the family is going to eat it. But that's just the quantity. If while cooking you are still thinking that this is for Krishna's, pleasure, that's important. And Krishna also understands that this is your duty as a mother, as a wife. So it's not a wrong thing. But the cooking should be for Krishna. The quantity, of course, we have to be practical. That some people have a big family, they will be making a lot. Some, if you're just husband, wife, small child, you'll be making less. That's all right. Prabhupada said when we make an offering, the plate, it should be like a young boy. You know how the teenagers they eat? Because Krishna is always youthful. So don't make very small, at least 4 chapatis and give enough rice, dal, like that. So that much we should cook, but that's all right. The main quantity we'll always think as the lady of the house, how much is required. That's not a problem. It's not a wrong thing. But consciousness, very important when we are cooking. That we have to remember. Patram pushpam phalam toyam, but the offering should be with love.
Hare Krishna, Bhaktimati Mataji, you can ask question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, this is not a question actually. I just want to thank you for clearing so many of our doubts. I think many of the Matajis have asked many questions, very nice questions. I think I myself have got benefited from all these questions, and definitely you have put forward a wonderful lecture today. We are very happy that henceforth I think we'll be more mindful when we are doing the cooking. We'll be more in a meditative mood while doing the cooking for Krishna. Definitely we'll remember all these points, whatever you have shared today. We are very thankful to you, Mataji, for
you,
giving this
Mataji.
wonderful lecture.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I also want everybody to remain enthusiastic that you're doing such important service. Never think that you are just a housewife, just a homemaker, or like that. No, this is very important.
Yes, Mataji.
Service.
Yes, Mataji. I think it's a very, very responsible position we have taken it up.
Yes, it's very important. Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Thank
feedback.
you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
On the last line that you said,
Yes.
right? We all understand that we cooking, cleaning, and taking household work and
Yes.
along with your family is your task. But why is that to society, especially in India? Just it's not in our hand.
Yes.
Why your family members are putting you in a position where if you're not earning, you're not working. So see, the thing is, you are not dealing by yourself.
Yes.
Somebody's there.
Correct.
dealing you.
Yes.
And it's all battles start at your home,
Correct.
right? You can fight with others and you close the door,
Correct.
but the fight is inside your home.
Hmm.
How you tackle it? Because the feminism started because they've been put into this situation where they felt like they've been not heard, they've been not valued.
Correct.
So why I'm asking this question is, why the feminists arrived by knowing the fact it was their duty. They were aware that they're their duty. By the family member or the society around us within India is now getting more materialistic, more value earned based. They don't feel the value in the food, but they
Correct.
feel the value in
The money.
money.
Yeah.
Why is that so?
So good question, Mataji. That
And
you.
to add one more to it, is it not the what we call losing the value
Hmm.
of our culture, of our heritage, and Vanshi-haran, I think that is a word that we actually do the Vanshi-haran because of that also.
Yeah.
Because we won't be able to, as we are not at home, we won't be able to give the progeny also. Because
Right.
I'm working. I
Yes.
will have only one
Yes.
kid, maximum two.
Correct.
I will not be able to give the proper devotee 4-5 kids.
Yes.
And grow the community as a Hindu or Vaishnava.
Yes.
So this all boil down to I feel who is the root cause of it? The society, the family, which is inside the closed door.
Yes.
How we tackle it?
So your question is that the whole idea of demeaning housework came about through feminism, but feminism came about because people stopped valuing the contribution of women. They started, kind of demeaning them, that this is not important. Unless you go out and earn money, it's not important. So actually the root cause is when religion declines. As Kali Yuga is increasing, religion declines, and then your value system changes. It is more towards enjoying your senses. People don't understand. Why are you in this material world? It's actually to get out of the material world. This material world, we've come almost by accident. We are not supposed to be here. This is not our home. It's not our permanent home. But this knowledge is lost. Then people think, oh, let me be comfortable here. Right? Like if you are on a journey and you are sitting in a train and you feel this is the be all and end all. But this is not your final destination. But nobody knows that. So you feel here I'll make a very nice, comfortable arrangement, with a bed and kitchen and whatever. But that's not our goal. But if you don't know that, then you'll be only focused on being most comfortable. And then people feel that rather than sitting at home, better to go and earn some more, and someone else can take care of these things, right? So that's why then the women, as you said, it's not just men or women, it's society in general. The men started thinking that there's no value in what the lady is doing at home. The ladies themselves lost the confidence because they also were not reading scriptures or understanding the goal. They said, yes, even I want to enjoy, I want to go out and have the freedom that the men have, and yeah, I want my own money, I want jewelry and clothes, and I don't want to ask my husband for it. So when we want independence and the people are also being disrespectful, the combination, so it's not one person or the other, it's when the value system goes down. So how can we tackle it? First we have to understand what is our role, what is the role of my husband, and then when everything is in balance, things are more peaceful, right? So first you understand, and then if you're doing your duty, I feel people automatically kind of understand. They do start appreciating, because it's not that all these things are completely lost. Some culture is there. At least I feel in India, there is still, sometimes people may say, oh, you're not earning, you're not working, or you're not working enough. Even if people are earning, the husband has one job and wife may have part-time or lesser. There also they'll put pressure that you should earn more. Why lesser hours? Why part-time? Why online? Like that, right? There's no end to it. But the main thing is, first you understand, and if you take a strong stand that no, I want to prioritize my spiritual life, and if they see that that has transformed your heart, your life, your family life, then the family will also come around. I feel there'll be less conflict. They will also see the benefit of that. So the root cause is going away from religion and value system. So when you bring that back into your life, it's possible that the balance can be restored. And you're saying that, it is not the women, it's the people outside who are demeaning. But I feel a little bit is also, we don't have the confidence. If two people tell you that, oh, you have a degree, why don't you go out and earn, look at your friends or look at so-and-so, then we also start thinking. Even people say that you will be a good example to your daughters. If you have a good career and everything, you'll be a role model to them. And sometimes we start thinking that, oh, is that so? Like, am I doing something wrong by taking this kind of, simple role at home? Not arguing with the in-laws or husband, trying to be more calm and peaceful. They'll say, why? You're just like being taken for granted. So unless we have the conviction, it's very difficult for others to see the benefit. So first, understand yourself, and then hopefully your family will also see whether it is good or bad. And if you have a supportive spouse, that's very nice. If you want to make a change, it's good that you discuss with your husband, get him on board, and if you have his support, then don't bother about the larger family, because whatever you do, they will criticize. You're home, they will say, oh, you could be doing much better outside. You start working, they'll say, look how ill-mannered your children are. You've not taught them anything. Or they'll say, the so-and-so is so weak, you don't feed them nicely. People will criticize. In any situation, they will criticize. So you have to understand what works for you, for your spiritual life. Be true to yourself. And then I hope things will also get better. Even if people are saying, you should learn to ignore. One has to be thick-skinned, because the path that we want to walk is an uncommon one. And you will find that there'll be more opposition than, appreciation. So it's just something you have to accept and just... And remain in association of devotees. They'll give you the enthusiasm.
Yeah, we are going against the tide.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, going against the tide. I always feel that, that it's an uphill task, because
And
it's...
you know what I feel is the time. The confidence is nice. Like if you take an elephant and you tie him with a rope, after a few times, he forgets that he's an elephant. Confidence is like that.
good
When
analogy.
talking about the we, meaning the people, no?
Yeah.
It is exactly
Yeah.
within your home, they're just tying you with
Yes.
so many things, and you
Yes.
forget that you are a different. You are a Durga, you are a Shakti, you are a Shanti, and
Yeah.
you are everything. But then
Correct.
you forget it. And moreover, the point that you Mataji said, that the consciousness. I myself have experienced one thing. There was the time during COVID time, no, we had a situation where we all family were sick, and we put a maid. But that time the situation, when we say, no, as you rightly said, when we actually totally depend on the maid or the cook, that's absolutely wrong. We should have at least a consciousness that I will cook at least one time a day
Yes.
or 2 times a day.
Correct.
Because there are a logistic where you will not be able to do
Right.
all the time.
Yes.
But if we don't do the complete system, ecosystem of your home, the health, the consciousness, everything goes for a toss.
I understand. Yes, I agree with you. It's very, very essential. And we don't realize these very subtle things which Prabhupada has very kindly pointed out to us. So thank you for sharing your experience. It's valuable that yes, we can actually see the difference, feel the difference. That's true.
Hare Krishna, Anusha Mataji. Anusha Mataji or Sureshwari Mataji, you can ask question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dharat Pranam.
Jai.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Mataji, my doubt is during periods till third day we will not cook, right? But suppose sometimes kids will be asking to make something what they like. So then we have to touch all the masala box or whatever required things. So how it will become impure? Then after 5 days, when we take head bath or third day after head bath, then we'll be we have to for the Ganga Jal and all we have to sprinkle. So is it acceptable that within 3 days also if we cook for kids whatever they like in between if they ask for anything?
Yes, Mataji, when we have kids, we have to be practical, we can't, children are ones who need to be fed very frequently, they have their own demands, that's okay. You can do that. The best thing is that if you can have, separate, that you're going to be off the altar every month, so you can have a little masala box
But the
which is
ingredients,
separate.
whatever they will
I
ask
know.
for, it will be
Mixed up.
We can't tell
it's very difficult.
which ingredient they will
Yes,
require,
yes,
what
yes.
kind of item.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go ahead, just purify the kitchen afterwards when you're done. That's the thing, when we are staying alone, it's very difficult to follow all these rules. But it's something we can aspire for, that at least when your children are older, then you can teach them to handle these things.
Yeah.
So it's just something
Now,
to keep in mind.
younger one is only 2.5 years, so 3 years now.
Yesterday we met one Mataji and her son is an expert cook and he learnt because she was not cooking during periods, and so when he was 9 years old he made chapatis and paneer sabji and he brought it for the family, and it was so inspiring to hear that if we have the desire, children will also learn and they will actually benefit, because now he's an expert cook. And so
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for that.
Mataji, question on the cleaning side, that's Mataji said. So, we every time
Anusha, please go ahead and ask
before
question.
cooking, we should take a
Mataji,
bath.
someone
like we cook
offline
ten-
asking the question, no? So.
before cooking, we should take a bath, or because in between we are going to washroom and all that. How is the practice we should follow from the cleanness perspective?
So, this is the highest standard is that do not wear clean clothes and do your cooking. Like bath, clean clothes, do your cooking, right? So that in the morning we are anyway doing, and then it is recommended to again do that in the evening. So a practical thing that we found, and this was in one of the temples we saw, that there are separate clothes for cooking. right? Because if you are wearing a cloth, you're doing the cooking, and then you take a nap in the afternoon, you're already muchi, right? So you can have a separate dress for cooking. Cook, make the offering, change out of it because it's difficult to wash also so many clothes. In the evening, again, take a quick shower. As it is, it's so hot here, you can possibly do that. Wear clean clothes and do the
We
cooking.
have the same clothes on again new clothes.
No, same. What you have used for cooking in the morning, then you have not done anything else, you can use the same dress, right? So that's a good standard. But do the needful, whatever. If that is also impractical, you're too busy taking shower again in the evening. You know, the rule is if you pass water, wash your hands and feet nicely. Of course, if you have to clear your stomach or take a bath, all those rules you must maintain. That's the best one can do. But otherwise, keep a dress for cooking is so important, that if you can keep it, that's best. To wear absolutely clean clothes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Pranams Mataji. Mataji, I have a question Mataji, during periods, no, you are suggesting us to keep separate, groceries?
Not groceries, I mean, yeah, this is what I've heard. Some Matajis, they have separate because they are only cooking. But they don't want to mix with the, the main cooking utensils. So they have few things that they use only when they are off the altar. They have some separate utensils. They'll make only simple khichdi. So they have separate ingredients also. So if you can do that, if you have space for that, just keep some things which you will use when you are off the altar. If your family is okay with that, because then it will be very austere. Like Mataji said, you can't separate all the ingredients, but keep some ingredients, and maybe you can do that. That is an option, if you can do
option,
it.
right? It's not ideally recommended to follow that.
It is recommended. Rather than making all your utensils muchi, this is a better option. But it's also difficult because you should have enough space to keep it somewhere separately, use only that. Then you have to be very careful not to touch anything else. So it's a bit complicated. It's a higher standard because your main utensils will not be touched.
Mataji, dry things also will get impure, right? The cooked food, what we do, maybe we'll not use for after 3 days, but the dry things also will get impure during that period. Still, whatever we touch will become impure.
Whatever you touch, yes. You know how it was. I mean, it's recommended during periods be separate. No work, it's actually supposed to be vacation time for a lady. How we can do that these days? It's not practical.
Yes, these days we are living in single families, so it's a bit difficult to maintain both.
That's what. But at least we should know the standard. We should know the standard at some point.
But
like I
one
said.
more thing, in that case means we do make prasad for services. So, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Ideally, you should not be cooking for devotees during that time. You should not do cooking service, but you can help. Maybe you can do some cutting and all, if there is no option. But generally,
Yes, so
you
if
should
there
not.
is no option, then it's
For example, if you
we can mix it.
if you have bhakti vriksha in your house, again, if you're off the altar, but still you have the regular program, so you have to cook. But if there is a different program, a bigger program, then other Matajis can do it.
Mataji, one more thing. Sometimes when we are cooking in bulk, we get the breads or stuff from outside. Ideally, we cannot able to make at home. We don't have a big kitchens to do that, and we are not also that trained to do such things. So, Mataji, even if we get it is veg, we know that they make veg, but not maybe in the Sattvic kitchen. But when we offer it to Lord, will it become pure or
No,
not?
it is not recommended to offer outside food because we really don't know who has cooked it, how they have cooked it, what circumstances. It's Krishna. He has very high standards. It's the Supreme Lord. So generally we cannot offer things bought from the cooked things. Of course we can offer fruits and nuts and all that, but especially grains, breads, that has a strong effect on the consciousness. So even if you have, say, sweets from outside, I remember, I think Srila Prabhupada mentioned that sweets can be offered to Krishna because somehow it's different. So many times in India, you see that people will buy sweets from a sweet shop and offer it at the temple. That's all right. That's acceptable. Still acceptable. But
Why, Mataji? Why?
I think they are, of course, these are sweet shops who are only doing preparations of sweets. And milk products are in themselves kind of pure. They don't get easily contaminated. So for that reason, but grains absorb the consciousness much more. So even if you have to eat from outside, it's best to avoid breads, like anything which is, cooked with grains. If you're traveling, if you can have some sabji, it's not as bad as having roti sabji. Of course, one can't have it by itself, but like a soup, you can have a soup that is still better than having bread from outside. If you have to choose between the two, better to go with the soup.
We can easily opt any new recipes, Mataji, but kids are watching outside, their friends also, so they might ask for sandwiches, burgers.
Yeah. Like I said.
They're not going outside, but if they ask us to make at home, we don't know how to make the buns and breads.
Yeah.
So in such cases, we are taking the bread.
Of course, that's fine. But you know what? It's not such a big effort. I learned how to make bread and buns, and once you start making at home, you cannot eat outside bread. You know that, how flavorful it is. Or it's not so complicated. It's just like kneading the dough and then just keeping it. The trick is in how you knead the dough, and very good for our health. Funny joke that one of my friends came from America. She's my best friend, and she was talking about working out, this, that, and I said, I have such muscles in my arms. She said, really? Do you do weightlifting? I said, no, I make pizza dough. Really, it will make you so fit. Your arms will be muscular and strong. We don't want muscular arms, but strong. It gives you so much strength. You don't need to go to a gym and carry weights. So anyway, we feel that it's something very complicated. Can be done. Once you get used to it, it's not so difficult. In the meantime, yes, if your kids do want, you can buy it, you can prepare it. That's all right. But you can try. Like I said, these days we can learn so much on YouTube, and you can try it. Because we have small families, it's not that one has to cook so much. If possible, you can give it a shot.
We should pray Krishna to give such energy to me.
I know. No, but I am really weak physically, so if I can do it, I feel anybody can do it. Of course, I'm talking about small quantity. I'm just talking about 2 loaves of bread and maybe 12 buns, something like that.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. We'll try.
And it's a fun activity to get your kids involved. Get them to do the kneading because it requires so much effort.
They will love it.
Sure.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, one more Mataji is there.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you,
So
Mataji.
if Krishna Mataji, you can ask questions.
Yes, I understand. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Pranam. Mataji, this is little bit related to the Anusha Mataji's question, because especially when we go to India for 1 or 2 months, we don't have control over the kitchen actually.
Yes.
So our in-laws or mothers, they will be cooking.
Yes.
So they will not give opportunity for us to cook, to hand over the kitchen.
Yes.
They feel more secure to cook themselves.
Yes.
Out of love, or I don't know them. They don't have that habit of giving. Main thing is we just offer it and we will eat. So I was just thinking, if that consciousness level is like. It's not like what we have. So how much it will affect on us, because we feel more agitated,
Yeah.
and we can also feel the difference how we are here and how when we go to India, how we the kind of behavior we are. I'm sorry, I'm doing it.
I understand,
The
yes.
changes in my behavior also.
Yes, it affects.
So,
So one thing you can do, Mataji, at that time, because if we are going to India, we're also on vacation. So, you do have more time. So if in that time when time is saved, you're not allowed to cook, you can chant with more sincerity. So that will also protect our consciousness. Because there are so many things that we do in our sadhana and our devotional life that affects our consciousness. So if we know we are going to be in this situation where I will be forced to take food which is not cooked with the highest standard. But that food is also cooked with love, so it's not so bad. But to counter the effects that it's not exactly Krishna Prasadam, then you can be more sincere with your chanting at that time. You can read more, you can hear some lectures. So that way you will be protected.
Thank you. Because out of love, sometimes they will just simply say they have offered, and then they will be giving. So,
That's
yes, Mataji, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Question. Any question? Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam Mataji. Rujita Mataji, should we pause?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You pause. Okay. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you for your wonderful association. Hare Krishna.
We'll chant one time Hare Krishna now.
Yes.
To Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.